Sporting Communities are a community interest company. We're an ethical, non-for-profit organisation which services range from sports coaching, youth work, mentors and family support. We're a training academy delivering a range of qualifications, and we also have art and play services. Over the next coming weeks, Sporting Communities will be delivering health, fitness and wellbeing podcasts covering all relevant topics. So welcome to another week of our fitness podcast. Again, I'm joined by Mike and Shaq. My name's Ed. Today's podcast is going to be around a few different topics to do with training, different exercises, different advanced training methods, but really interesting and some information that even if you're thinking about starting out at the gym, you know, it's a good one to listen to. So we're going to start with some quick introductions. Again, like I said, my name's Ed. I've been a personal trainer now for over 3 years. I love health and fitness. I'm all about going to the gym, trying to stay as fit and positive and the best of me I can be. I also like playing football, playing badminton, as well as coaching badminton. I work for Sporting Communities and deliver some of the sports coaching sessions around Derby. So yeah, that's me. Mike and Shaq, do you want to do a quick introduction and then we'll go into some of the questions and topics that we're going to talk about?
Yeah, hi guys. Yeah, I'm Shaq. I'm also a PT, also a sports coach at Sporting Communities. My hobbies are I enjoy playing football, other sports as well, but mainly my main focus are football and the gym. I have a huge passion, obviously, for health and fitness. I enjoy family time, time with friends. Yeah, that's just a bit about me.
Cool. Cheers for that, Shaq. And Mike?
Guys, it's Michael John. I'm a PT. I also work for Sporting Communities. My main interests are living a healthy lifestyle, going to the gym, bike riding, reading, eating. Eating's very important. And yeah, that's me, guys.
Nice one. Cheers to that then, guys. So like I said previously, we're going to talk about a range of different subjects, some different training methods, what we prefer to do, some pros and cons of some advanced training methods that we're going to cover. So like I said, it will be an interest for those that are thinking about starting at the gym and or just exercising generally. And something that guys who have been going to the gym for maybe a while and hit a bit of a plateau want to try something different in the gym. You know, it's something that you guys can definitely apply to your training. So that hits us with the first question and topic that we're going to talk about, which is some different training plans that we apply to our training, ones that you can apply in general, ones that maybe we don't use, but you might want to try out. For example, you know, full body, push and pull sessions, upper body, lower body. So we're just going to talk a bit about what we do, maybe some different types that you can try out, some pros and cons to that. Mike, do you want to go first on this one?
Yeah, not a problem. So different training plans, full body, push, pull, upper, lower body, muscle group splits, things like that. So you could say it's important to have like a few different training plans. So then it could be like two answers, like yes or no. So why is it good to have like a mixture of training plans? Because it will keep the body guessing. So have you guys ever heard of us saying like shock your body? So you've probably heard people say that. So basically it means do something out of your uncomfort zone. Because let's face it, nothing good ever comes from your own comfort zone, does it? So it's, you know, you say it's wise to mix it up all the time. But then you could say the answer would be no. For example, if you're training, say strength training, and then you want to stick with your regular routines, compound movements, strong lifts, etc., active sets, 1 rep maxes. So, but at the minute, I'm just like sticking to like hypertrophy, which is like just an increase of like growth of muscle cells. So hypertrophy is just triggered when the muscles are like pushed to the limits and stuff. So an example would be like 3 to 5 sets of 6 to 12 repetitions.
Yeah, that sounds good then. So in terms of training, I just want to touch on a bit about shocking your body, because it's something definitely I've heard of. I know Shaq has as well. It's basically your body adapting to your training sessions, and it starts having less and less effect training wise. So is that sort of the thing that you think that you're talking about? So when you start to notice you're not aching as much and you're not feeling that push within a session, you know, that's the time to change it up? Or would you change it? Would you do a specific time? So every 4 weeks, what do you do in that, Mike?
Well, I tell you what, I'll keep it very simple for you guys. How many people go to the gym and train chest? So it's like, right, I'm going to train chest today. I'll do a little bit of a warm up on chest. That means I'll literally lift the barbell, do 20 reps of just the barbell and warm up. And then I'll start with 60 kilo, 80 kilo, then I'll go to 100, then, 120 and things like that. So then you could step out your comfort zone and say, I tell you what, I'll do a different exercise before I go on to that compound exercise and start. I'll do chest fly. I'll do like 20 push-ups, something different. So, I do it myself, but mainly, so I'd say if I'm doing a back session or something, right, I'm doing back today, I won't go straight into deadlifts like I usually do because it's a compound exercise. I need my strength at the start. I know I'll do 4 sets of 12 reps of wide grip pull-ups or something. Do you know what I mean? I'm mixing it up all the time. I might start with a resistance workout today. I might go straight into weights. You know what? I might do 10 minutes of cardio or something on the treadmill. So this is stepping out of your uncomfort zone. Do you get what I'm saying, guys?
Yeah, no, it's a good way of doing it. Just basically trying to activate different kind of muscle groups to let your body know that you're there for a workout. So no, yeah, that makes sense. Nice one for that, Mike. So Shaq, what about you?
So at the minute, thank you for that. I'm going out for quite a few runs. So obviously that's classed as cardio at the minute. But also at the minute, obviously because there's no gyms open and stuff at the minute, I'm only training one muscle group a day. So when I'm training my muscles at the minute, obviously because I want to build mass, I'm in the hypertrophy training. So that's where, as easy as I can put it, is it's moderate intensity. So it's 50% to 75% RM, which is a 1 rep max. Obviously, I'm doing that because I want to increase the mass of my muscles. Obviously, I'm lifting it heavier as well. So I'm going for 8 to 12 reps. So yeah, as I just said, at the minute, I'm only training one muscle group a day. Whereas when I was at the gym, I don't know if it'll be the same as you guys, but when I was at the gym on a Monday, I'd train back and tries. Like when most people at the gym will train chest and buys on a Monday, but I'd change it around and do that, back and tries. Then Tuesday, I'd do my chest and buys then. And then Wednesday, I'd go into my shoulders, but I'd add legs with that. Thursday, I'd have my day off. Friday, I'd do a full body, and then I'd start again on the Saturday.
Sounds good. Mike, do you have a similar kind of split to that, or do you do something totally different? How does your week plan out in terms of your training?
Well, mine was pretty similar to Shaq's. I mean, how many people have heard of International Chest Day on Monday? And so yeah, so I didn't get on that bandwagon. I was like, I'm doing legs Monday, and then all of a sudden, I'm doing legs twice a week. I do legs on a Monday. I do legs on like a Thursday or a Friday, and then I've everything else I've mixed up. So my back day, I'm going to do arms day. I kind of just mix it up throughout the weeks, and then I'll find myself quite sore. Then I've worked it really well. So that's like the DOMS, the delayed onset muscle soreness, if you want to go down that road. So at the minute, during the quarantine, I'm a bit like Shaq. I'm training individual muscle groups Monday right through to Sunday. And then I'm doing cardio 3-4 times a week as well. Like early morning before breakfast, I'm doing a little bit of cardio. I've actually counted this week. I've done about just over 22 miles, which I'm quite, I've never have done that in my life, kind of thing.
Yeah,
but I know, yeah. But yeah, I mean, yesterday I did back. So sometimes I do back and biceps. But then yesterday I thought, you know what? I'll give my arms that extra rest. I do my arms tomorrow on Monday. I'm just going to give everything I got for back today. So 5 main exercises for back. So yeah, what you could say at the minute, Ed, is I'm very mixed up. I don't really have a set routine. I'm very mixed up. I go off how sore. If my body feels sore the next day, that means I felt like I've trained pretty well. Do you know what I mean? I'm always looking for that burn the next day, and then stretching and things like that.
I think that's spot on. I think you've touched on a point that I was going to touch on perfectly, really, and that's listening to your body. We can all have a plan written down to the exercise, to the amount of reps, just that we just perfectly follow. But there's no point getting to the gym or to your workout and your back's in agony from a previous session, and you go straight in and stick with your plan. There's no harm in changing your plan if your back's aching and you feel like you need to give it a couple more days rest. Change your plan. So listen to your body, because that's when injuries start coming in, overtraining, and you're not gonna feel or see the true benefits of training. There's no point training one muscle group 4 times a week, because it's just not going to get the amount of recovery it needs. So yeah, there was just a couple of points that, again, similar to that one I wanted to touch on. So listen to your body, focus on your weaknesses more. So similar to a lot of you guys, if you play sport, if you're playing football and you're not as good kicking with your right foot, how many times do we see the players just keep improving on the left foot, and they stick with that weakness? And it's exactly the same with training at the gym. If you've got weak, say, legs, for example, and this is the case with a lot of people, they avoid training their weakness because it's not very attractive. They don't want to do something they feel they're not very good at. So that's training, their weakest body part, and it's legs, and they don't want to be seen doing that in the gym. But that's kind of the opposite. If you can get out of that mindset, focus on your weaknesses more, so you have a well-balanced overall kind of physique, that's something to take into consideration. So maybe if you are going to plan out a weekly session, put the weaker muscle groups in that need catching up, doing them twice a week maybe, whereas everything else you'll do once a week. And then also take into consideration kind of lifestyle factors. So again, how many times, it's not just about getting as big as you can at the gym. People, love training for a marathon, cardio kind of for sports. If you want to get fitter at football, circuit training's great. HIIT workouts are great. But also if you're sat at a desk all day, leaning forward, you've got to think you want to try and kind of keep that posture good. So you want to work on kind of your rear delts more and your back to kind of pull your shoulders back, rather than, because if you're spending 8 hours a day sat at a desk, that can be quite important. So again, there's a lot of things to take into consideration when planning out a training workout. So there's just a few things to take on board.
You can always tell, the guys at the gym and stuff that train a lot of chest, neglect the back, the rear delts, the lower back. They sort of like slouch forward a little bit, don't they? And then for all you know it, just like you said, Ed, they could be doing a 9 till 5 job in the office or something.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Yeah, I get what you're saying, Ed.
Yeah, and it's all front, and then that again, that's when injuries occur. You get an unbalanced kind of physique, hunchback. So, but no, just to round that up then. So again, if you have any questions as we go along, please drop them in the comment box. But it's a case of, if we haven't answered it, drop either a comment or come on the online chat when Mike and Shaq are online, and they're happy to answer any of your questions. But there is kind of full body sessions you can do, push-pull sessions, which is mainly kind of a pushing session would be your chest, shoulders and tries. Pull would be your back and buys, and then you would train legs separately. As an example, I know you can kind of make your own up as you go along if you wanted. You can do an upper and lower body workout. So upper, obviously self-explanatory, and then if you're able to go to the gym 4 or 5 times a week and you've been training a while, maybe think about splitting up them muscle groups to specifically focus on kind of the individual muscle groups a bit more.
It's like you said, it's just a lot of trial and error and stuff. I've certainly tried things that what I know other people do, what my mates do. Oh, Michael, have you tried this? Have you tried that? I've tried it, and you know what? I don't like it. And one of them guys. Just a lot of it's trial and error and stuff. Not everything's going to work what the other person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I still do that now. If constantly kind of learning, changing up my workouts, just listening to my body, and if something's aching, I'll leave it a couple more days. There's no harm in that. It's kind of a long-term game, isn't it, the gym?
Yeah, exactly like you two said. It's just about getting to grips with what your body's suited to, and obviously what you can adapt to.
Yeah, 100%. Right then, so that leads us on to topic number 2, which is, what are the different types of training? So examples of this would be strength, hypertrophy, endurance. So Shaq, I'll come to you first. Do you want to expand on a few of them, some pros and cons, and what they are?
So yeah, as Ed said, I'm just going to talk a bit about hypertrophy. So hypertrophy training is basically the training you use a moderate intensity, which is 50% to 75% of your one rep max. Sorry about that. You train like this if you wish to increase your muscle mass, obviously, because you're going to be lifting heavier with the reps range 8 to 12 reps.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, Shaq. like I said earlier, Shaq, I prefer hypertrophy. Like you said, the 3 to 6 sets and stuff, only like 70-80% of your max. So like you could say hypertrophy refers to like an increase of muscular size achieved through the exercise. So like effectively improve your muscle definition.
Yeah.
And obviously the most common way would be lifting weights, of course.
Yeah, totally.
Cool, nice one for that then, guys. Mike, what did you want to talk about a bit more in detail and some pros and cons?
I mean, I could talk a little bit about endurance. I do a little bit endurance, not too much. So you could say endurance training. You can also call it aerobic exercise. So like endurance exercise includes activities that like will increase your breathing, your heart rate, such as walking, jogging, swimming, biking, all those kind of things. So like, but the good things about endurance is obviously the activity on your heart, like your lungs, and like how healthy you are on the inside, improves your overall fitness. So as a result, so like people who get the recommended like physical activity can reduce their risk of like many diseases such as like diabetes and stuff, heart disease, strokes. So people that do a lot of endurance training tend to be the fitter ones, you could say. All the Olympic runners, people that swim and stuff. So I think, is it called lung busting as well? When you go swimming and stuff, people can like hold the breath for a lot longer underwater, can swim a whole length underwater. These kind of people that train endurance tend to be a lot fitter.
Just working the heart a bit more, aren't they? Getting the blood flowing quite a bit more within the muscle groups that they're working.
Yeah, so I mainly stick with hypertrophy, but I mean, it's always good to like mix a little bit around. A lot of people say, the strength training, which I'm sure one of you guys will probably bring up next. But yeah, hypertrophy is like in between the strength training and it's kind of endurance, you could say.
To either of you, what about strength training? What do we know about this?
I spoke to Shaq. I know Shaq used to do a bit of strength training stuff. I've done strength training as well. I used to love strength training. Heavy deadlifts and stuff, and things like that, and heavy squats, leg presses, things like that. So like strength training for like muscular strength is basically to do like up to 2 to 6 sets of less than 6 reps at 80 to 90% of your max. So basically, strong muscles mean you also have like strong supported bones and connective tissue. So all of that contributes to like a body that can like withstand more stress than bodies of people that don't do strength exercises, if you guys get what I mean. So obviously your strength training it's mainly like your compound exercises. So like compound exercises are like, that work multiple muscle groups at the same time. Do you know what I mean? So like when you're doing a squat or something, it works your quadriceps, your glutes, your calves. So I'll touch on that again, guys. So a compound exercise that works multiple muscle groups at the same time. And that's usually where all your strong lifts are, strength training. Yeah, so obviously I've just quickly explained what your compound is. So obviously multi-muscle groups all at once working together kind of thing. Isolation would be, I'll make it dead simple for you guys, a bicep curl, a concentration bicep curl. So a concentration bicep curl is where you just sat on the bench, you sort of like slouching over a little bit. You've got your, say your left arm, you've got your left arm, elbow on top of your lap, and you're just doing a simple bicep curl. No other muscle was working in the body. It's literally just working your bicep. Yeah. So basically, single. You call it. I'm not very scientific. You can call it single muscle usage.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So again, just a useful bit of information really there, because I think a lot of the terminology in gyms are like, oh, is that a compound or isolation exercise? It's just handy to kind of know what you're doing and what that involves. I think a lot of some training I've done in the past, a typical one for strength training might be like 5 sets of 5. You typically in strength training you're lifting more than what you're doing for hypertrophy, just because hypertrophy you're doing more reps. So typically when you want to do less reps, you go to a heavier weight. That's just how it works in the gym. Endurance, a lot of the time you're doing lighter weight, if any weight, and you're doing more reps.
What about you, Shaq? Shaq, you've told me about some of your strength training. How'd you do it?
Yeah, so literally what you said there is what I used to do, obviously, because you said obviously it adapts your body so you can take more stress. So literally all that stuff you said there, when I was at like academies and stuff, football academies, we used to do quite a bit of that training, obviously, because when you're playing football, your body takes quite a lot of impact.
When you're always lifting to a heavier weight, you've always got to be careful. So a couple of things to be wary of is like having a spotter, being responsible when you're lifting weights, not being stupid and putting a ridiculous weight on that you know you can't lift. Otherwise, you end up again getting injured, tearing muscles and things like that.
It's like you just said there, Ed, not putting too much weight on, because it's like you see some people when they're at the gym on like let's take for instance like a deadlift.
Yeah.
So obviously not correct posture, like the back's not straight, they're just arched over, and obviously that's gonna cause injuries.
Yeah, ego lifting.
Yeah.
Hey, what's wrong with deadlifting, guys? No, you're both right. I started really low and just made sure my form was absolutely bang on before I started increasing the weight. I'll say it from like the start. So I remember when I first did my level 3 PT course, no, level 2 actually, and you have to practice so like the deadlift was called the safe lift. So before we could perform any exercise during a level 2, level 3, we had to perform the safe lift, and that was basically the deadlift. So it was a case of like, so I'm going to do it now while I'm talking. So basically, so you're standing, and then you have to keep your head up nice and straight. Don't arch your back, just bend your knees, pick the weight up off the floor. So it's like all one movement. So there's no like all bending your back down, bending the knees. It's all one movement. So it's nice and safely. So it's basically head up nice and straight, shoulders back, neutral spine position. So obviously you're bending down, your back's still straight, bending with your knees, pick the weight up off the floor. And that is basically how you do your deadlift. And it's also the correct way of how to pick weights up off the floor. Just touching on what you said, Ed, there's no need for ego lifters. The best thing to do really is build your weight up really slowly, naturally. You'll build more muscle from it. You'll make better gains.
Right then, third topic that we're going to talk about is what are some advanced training methods, different examples, some pros and cons. So Mike, again, we'll start with you. Do you want to go pick, say, one advanced training method that you've used in the past or you currently using, why you use it, what are some advantages and or disadvantages of that advanced training method?
Yeah, so a very simple one, which I've done before, would be a pre-exhaust. So a pre-exhaust is basically what we just discussed, Ed, an isolation exercise to fatigue, followed by a compound exercise for the same muscle group. A good example that would be a leg extension, followed by like a leg press, a really like heavy leg press. So basically, the advantage of is to like, well, you're forced to create more motor units really, like type 2 fibers. They're like the fast twitch muscle fibers, which like support quick, powerful movements such as sprinting, weightlifting, stuff like that. So yeah, that's the pre-exhaust, guys. Which is isolation, no break, no rest, straight into a compound movement. So leg extension, for instance, I'm not going to rest now. I'm going straight into my squats.
Yeah. So a couple of pointers for that then. One, would you typically use this on a weaker muscle out of that muscle group? So out of your legs, if you had weaker quads, is this quite a good one to kind of overwork your quads to help them catch up? And number two, when typically would you use this advanced training method within your workout, i.e. start, middle, end?
I guess I would use, the pre-exhaust advanced training method is mainly to like, well, so say if I'm starting with the isolation exercise first, say the leg extension, so then I have concentrated effectively on that quad. So I have burnt the quad out, you could say. So my quads are burnt out. Oh, they're a little bit wobbly, a little bit jelly. I'm going to go and do some heavy squats now. So really, it's like a double focus on my quads, you could say. So like, for building muscle or something. And then obviously there's the opposite way around, which is the post-exhaust. So that would be the complete opposite of what I've just said. So that would be squats straight into an isolation exercise. Okay. So it's all about, what you want to do. So if you want to build power, strength and stuff, so you would use the pre-exhaust. If you want to like build the muscle and stuff, then I'm going to absolutely kill my legs first on the leg press. And then I'm going to And then I'm going to train even more on my quad straight after with no rest. And when would I use it? I would probably get warm first at the gym because, you know, as we all know, warming up's really important, prevents injury, it improves muscle elasticity, all that stuff. But I wouldn't go straight into the pre-exhaust because, once again, it's an advanced training method. I'd warm up and stuff first, and then probably use it. I'd say I'd use it on my first or second exercise. Why not?
Okay, cool, nice one. Shaq, what have you got for us?
So I've got antagonist supersets. This is basically where you perform alternate sets of 2 exercises for opposing muscle groups. So when I'm at the gym, usually when I'm training with my mate, for example, if I was doing this in my training, I'd use the bench press superset with the row machine. Sorry for that.
Okay.
As obviously the bench targets my chest and the row targets my back. Obviously with these exercises as well, you can have fairly long rest periods.
You go straight in from the bench press to the rower, no rest in between.
Yeah, so like I say, it's a good exercise if you're training with your friends as well, because one of you can be on the bench, one of you can be on the rower, and then you'll just switch it up. And then when you've both completed that exercise, you can both take your break together, have a little chit chat.
Cool. No, that sounds good. Kind of, again, what we touched on earlier, getting that balance if you're working both muscle groups. Yeah. No, that sounds good.
What about you, Ed? What have you got an advanced training method for us?
Yeah, so something I'm a massive fan of. I've got drop sets. So, you know, in your normal kind of hypertrophy training set, you might just do, as an example, 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps. A drop set is typically you're changing that, you're making it much more intense. So an example may be a good one to do with drop sets is kind of cable machines, because it's quite easy and quick to change the weight. So what we're going to do with drop sets is you're going to pick a weight where you know you can probably do 8 to 12 reps and then you fail at. So you pick that weight, you do that set, and immediately you're going to drop the weight about 20-25%. Now this changes from person to person depending on muscular endurance. So some people have more kind of reserves in the tank. I tend to drop it probably 10%. But it does range. But as long as you're dropping that weight immediately and going straight into a second set, again, you want to try and hit them 8 to 12 reps again. Because you're dropping the weight, essentially it's going to make the exercise a bit easier, even though you've just done a set. And then once you've hit them second kind of 8 to 12 reps, you're going to drop the weight again, and you're going to go into another set. And then again into, you know, it ranges again person to person. I try and get 4 sets out, but if you can only get 3 sets out, that's perfect. So again, just quickly, you're going to start on a weight you can get 8 to 12 reps on, do that set, go straight into a second set, but drop the weight again, go straight into a third set, and a fourth if you can. So because of the nature of this advanced training method is so intense, I would say you only want to be doing it for 1 or maybe 2 exercises per workout. And with that, what I tend to do is I will tend to finish with these, or I'll split them up. So I'll do one mid-workout, do another normal training set after, and they're a great way of exhausting your muscles at the end of a workout. So I'll always tend to finish on a drop set within my workout that's quite quick and easy. So again, cable machines are a great way to do it. If you've got a training partner that can kind of take the weights off quickly, that's another great way of doing it. But yeah, drop set is mine.
No, just quickly touching what you said, Ed. So obviously I know the benefits and stuff, but what would you say the like disadvantages of it? Would you kind of say like it's wear and tear on like your muscles or your joints preferably?
Yeah. So like yeah, because it's so intense, I would say not exactly a disadvantage, but one is that you can only probably get 1 or 2 within a workout. So then it's not one that you can kind of turn to every set. Yeah. So one of the only ones again that I could probably maybe class as, if you did start with a drop set in a workout, it might knacker you out or kind of exhaust your muscles too quickly. So you're not able to kind of do different exercises for that muscle group for the rest of your workout. You might not get the most out of the rest of your workout if you do a drop set too early. So that's why it's important to kind of plan it in more towards the end of a session once you've kind of covered all the muscle group. But yeah, like I say, I can't really think of too many disadvantages to it, to be honest.
Nice one.
One last training method that we're going to cover between all three of us today is pyramid training. So Shaq, if I come to you first, I know there's two different types. So do you want to go into detail about one of them, and then Mike, you can go into the detail about another?
Yes, cheers for that, mate. So I'm going to go with traditional pyramid training. This is literally a collection of sets of the same exercise that start with a light weight and higher reps, building up to a heavier weight and fewer reps. For example, a full pyramid training set is an extension of this, reducing the weight after you have reached the peak until you complete the pyramid.
Yeah, nice one. I know I've definitely used this in the past, and I know that we talked about strength, hypertrophy, endurance training earlier. I think it's a really good one that can cover, depending on your rep range, all three. So Mike, do you want to talk about the other one?
Yeah, so that's the traditional way. What Shaq said, you've got your descending as well. So basically, what Shaq just said, the reverse pyramid. So Shaq said start off with lightweight, high reps, that kind of thing. So basically, we'll just be reverse, guys. So then instead of like starting on your lightweight and stuff, start on your heavyweight, do the complete opposite. So you know, I might let's go for instance, let's go into like we could say some bicep curls. We'll just keep it very simple. So say in front of me, I've got 8 kilo dumbbells, 10 kilo dumbbells, 12 kilo dumbbells. Okay, so one after each other. That's what Shaq spoke about. So I'm going to turn them all around. So I'm going to start with the heavyweight with lower reps, because obviously it's heavier. Then the next weight is going to be a little bit lighter. And then after it's going to be the lightest. But in that way, I'm going to be increasing the reps each time. So like pyramid training can be used to like build muscle. It can be to like lose fat or do both. It's a great way to add some variety in your training, really, isn't it? And keep your body guessing, I suppose.
I guess depending which one you pick is you're going to have more energy at the start of the set. So if you want to work on your strength a bit more, I guess you start heavier. If you want to work on your endurance a bit more, yeah, you start with the more reps, less weight.
Yeah, so like as you like gradually move up the pyramid, technically the weight like becomes heavier and the repetitions fewer. So as you transition to heavier weights and lower reps, and effectively you build more strength. And in general, don't know about you guys, I feel I you know what, I like ending my last exercise or something like a pyramid because you feel good, don't you? You've got to pump.
You feel pumped, mate. You feel pumped.
This is what I'm saying. You feel pumped.
Yeah. Right then. Cheers to that then, guys.
Yeah. So just all right then. One last quick one, guys. So obviously you probably ask yourself this quite a lot: is it better to train twice a day? Can you overtrain? Shall we be training smart? What is sensible lifting? Ed, what do you think?
Yes, tricky one. I think it depends again on the person. Training twice a day, or depending on what time you have available. So, you know, you could say, oh, I'm training twice a day for 20 minutes each time. That's perfectly fine. I think if you want to go training twice a day for an hour at a time, then, you know, it could get a bit much. And it depends if you're mixing up your training. So if you're training, going on a run and doing some cardio, don't see a problem in that. And then later on, you're doing your weights, so you're getting that range and variety in your training. I think if you're doing biceps for an hour in the morning, then you're going to do biceps for an hour at night. You're probably going to, if anything, do a bit of damage to that muscle. You just got to, yeah, like we said, train smart. You don't need to train for 4-5 hours a day to gain the muscles. Cardio different, I guess. Cardio, if you want to hit a PB for a 10k race that you want to do, then you're going to be running quite a few 10ks before. So, you know, it depends how specific you are in that training. But I think it's just a case of being sensible, being smart, listening to your body. In some cases, if you've got the time, training twice a day, yeah, great. If you haven't, then, you know, it's not going to be an issue. One training session a day is going to be plenty, as long as you make that training session count and make it intense. Really focus on the muscles that you want to be working on. If it's cardio, be specific to what you're training towards, whether that's a 100-meter sprint PB time or a marathon. So
yeah, I mean, you could say so. Then that obviously like leads me into like about overtraining. So as far as I'm concerned, guys, about you two, there's no such thing as overtraining. There's only under recovery. So most people don't put enough time into like effort or the intensity to put themselves into that state of overtraining. So like most people simply don't recover well enough. The factors of that would be: are you eating properly? Does your food match up with your type of training? Are you sleeping enough? Are you getting your 8 hours a day? Are you staying hydrated? So yeah, I don't think there's no such thing as like overtraining. It's like I do believe in under recovery there. And, you know, I'll admit to you guys, sometimes that's where I go wrong. You know, I don't always sleep amazing every night. And, you know, I could be eating a lot better. I do eat well. I do eat really well. But, you know, I could put that little bit more effort in and eat that much better. I could make sure I'm getting enough water a day. I think I drink enough, but maybe, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Optimizing that recovery more.
So just touching on what you two said, yeah. So training twice a day, it can be good if you say, let's say for instance, if you're trying to lose weight, so you'll be on a calorie deficit anyway. So it's going to be good that way because you're going to be burning twice as many calories if you're training twice a day. But then again, if you're like building muscle, for me, I wouldn't train twice a day because you're going to be burning more calories than you're taking in.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, Shaq, what's your thoughts on sensible lifting? What would you call sensible? What does that come to you as sensible lifting?
So sensible lifting, when I think of that now, you said it would come to me as knowing your limit in a way.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. I think a lot of egos get in the way at the gym. I think it's easy to see someone else lifting a weight and feel like you can do that. I think we've all done it as well. I know I have.
When you're younger, when you're like a teenager, I've definitely done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Mike. I'm guessing you must have done that, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, you do, don't you? Know when you're at that age and stuff, and like, I mean, you might learn like weight training techniques by like watching friends or like others in the gym, but like sometimes what you see isn't safe. Do you know what I mean? Incorrect like weight training technique can lead to like sprains, strains, fractures. You know, rip pectoral muscles. Do you know what I mean, Ed?
I bet you guys in the gym have seen. Do you know when someone's like got you know the easy bars? You know the ones with the little rigs in between.
Oh yeah, like the zigzag thing.
Yeah, them. So obviously you can put like any weight on them, aren't you? People have got like tried to put 25 kg on each side and they start bicep curling that. And then do you know when they chuck themselves back to curl?
Yeah.
I'm guessing you two.
Yeah, it's just technique and just being sensible. I think too many people care about what weight they're lifting when actually if you get that mind to muscle connection and technique right and able to really focus on that muscle group,
Exactly.
the weight, I won't say is irrelevant because it's not, but it's, you know, it doesn't play as big as a part of as people think. And when half the time people are just putting a weight on to say, look at what I can lift, and their technique's absolutely dreadful, and they're just causing themselves damage and going to get injured by it, you know, you've got to question, is it worth it? If
you master your form, you're going to build a lot quicker anyway because your form's on point. Rather than like you guys were saying, like if you're lifting heavy but not got correct technique, you're not really doing like anything. Like if you're doing a bicep curl, for instance, and you're chucking your body back, you're literally not even training your biceps really.
Yeah, so probably to sum all this all up, guys, you'd say always warm up. Before you lift a weight, do at least 5 minutes of aerobic exercise to get your muscles warm. So 5 pointers would be: good form is always more important than lifting a lot of weight. Yeah. Increase your weight by the smallest possibility. Remember to breathe, use full range of motion, and pay attention, of course.
Yes.
Summed it up.
Well, cheers to that today, guys. And I hope anyone listening, you know, you've kind of learned something or can take something away from the podcast and implement it into your training. If you've got any questions, again, drop them in the comment box, or Mike and Shaq are going to be on the Facebook and Instagram Messenger within the week. So please check out our Facebook page to look at the timetable and see where they're on. And come online, have a chat with them, talk about any training you've been doing, cardio as well, or sports you've been playing. They're more than happy to kind of give you some pointers on any training or some sports that you're playing. And tune in next week. Cheers, guys. Thanks for listening.
Cheers, guys. Bye, guys.